Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and of course, continuing on, reviewing more Halloweenish materials on the weekends. Now we come to the second to last Halloweenish review on the weekends. Yep. So that's right, you read the title, you know exactly what the second to last Halloweenish material it is that I'm reviewing. Something Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. And as was teased in the third to last Halloweenish review, if you guys knew what I was teasing and what I was describing, as I always do my best with what I describe and tease, yes, so that's right. I am reviewing an episode of Grim Adventures that is Halloween, and I almost forgot that this episode does come from Season 1, and it's Episode 15. Yep. So, from Season 1 of The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Episode 15, Billy and Mandy's Jacked Up Halloween. Yes, Billy and Mandy's Jacked Up Halloween. You know, this being their first Halloween episode / special, it was pretty good. It did not disappoint. For me, I love Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and I'm sure you guys do too. In the good old days of Cartoon Network, and, since I'm a 2000s baby, well, obviously, I grew up watching Grim Adventures, but actually just a little. I didn't actually watch a lot of Grim Adventures, to be honest. I don't know why, but a bunch of other Cartoon Network shows that I watched was like, say, Crypto the Super Dog, a little bit of Harry and His Bucket Full of Dinosaurs, and a couple of others, but Crypto and Harry are the two that, come to my mind, but yeah, but I know I've seen some of Grim Adventures during the good old days of Cartoon Network, but yeah. So, yeah, Episode 15 from Season 1, Billy and Mandy's Jacked Up Halloween. It is a pretty good Halloween special, and very fitting since we all know what the show is like, and Halloween, being kind of right up their alley, pretty much. Well, besides, they got a freaking Grim Reaper, so there you go. And a bunch of other cryptid and scary creatures and stuff like that. And, some from the underworld, etc. Yeah. What goes on in Billy and Mandy's Jacked Up Halloween is pretty interesting, and where the story goes. The antagonist of this Halloween episode / special, pretty interesting. And apparently, in Grim Adventures, we learn and discover the origins on why nowadays people do pranks and tricks and jokes, even say on Halloween. And it was basically half of Grimm's fault. He kind of takes a little bit of the blame on that. But yeah, just overall, Episode 15 from Season 1 of the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Billy and Mandy's Jacked Up Halloween. It's a good Halloween episode / special, and especially for any of us, who like to watch some nostalgic Halloween TV stuff, or even say, any Halloweenish stuff that was on the good old days of Cartoon Network, and well, this being one of them. That and a bunch of others, I can think of, say, well, the two Scary Godmother specials, because they always had aired on Cartoon Network every Halloween season, so yeah, but anyways. Alright, so, with that, as always, read the description / the story. While trick-or-treating, headless jokester Jack-O-Lantern tricks Billy into giving him Grimm's scythe so he can take revenge on Grimm and the rest of the world. Yeah, so getting into Billy and Mandy's Jacked Up Halloween itself, because, yeah, Billy, we start off with Billy watching, to him, a scary commercial. It's an advertisement for a lumberjack, and, well, a lumberjack being the spokesperson and star of the commercial, and lumberjack being voiced by Billy West, and, of course, we have Richard Steven Horowitz, if I'm getting his last name right, the voice of Billy, and, well, Mandy and Grimm show up. Mandy is dressed as Hamlet while Grimm plays the part of the skull, because, well, Hamlet holding a skull and Grimm quoting from Hamlet, "Wherefore art thou?" You know, what he says. Billy being terrified of their costume, but when they tell him that it's Halloween, well, he quickly dresses up as the Grim Reaper, and he borrows Grimm's scythe, and yeah. And, you know, that's nice of Grimm to let him use his scythe, because, well, he's dressed as the Grim Reaper, as Grimm. And Grimm gives Billy a heads up that, you know, on what to do with the scythe and not do any troublesome things with it. Not picking his nose with it, and not accidentally opening a vortex from the underworld and disaster striking in Ennsville. So, you know, at least Billy kept that in mind when he later went off trick-or-treating by himself, solo. Well, because, you know, Billy, Mandy, and Grimm, they go to pick up Irwin at his house, and Irwin being voiced by Vanessa Marshall. And Irwin, throughout this Halloween episode/special, the many costumes that Irwin tries on, the first one that he wears is Sleeping Beauty. And we know with Irwin, him having a crush and in love with Mandy and always trying to go for a kiss and just, yeah, and, you know, have Mandy be his girl. But of course, knowing Mandy, no. And Irwin trying to be scary with the costumes he tries on, the different costumes. And, well, Irwin was going to put on a different costume, and he asked if they would wait for him. And Mandy said they would, but when he closed the door and went back in, they left. I should have seen it coming. And then at one point, they go to, one house that they go to is the house of Granny, and Vanessa Marshall also being the voice of Granny. She also voiced a cowgirl, and the other voice cast members, Greg Eagles also voiced a spirit and a knight in shining armor, and Vanessa Marshall also, oh no, it was not, I'm sorry, Greg Griffin is the voice of Granny, my bad. She voices Granny and the cowgirl, while Vanessa Marshall only voices Irwin and voices a toilet paper woman. A woman dressed up as toilet paper. So yeah, got a bit mixed up. And Billy West, the other voices that he does, he voices an announcer, obviously to go with the Lumberjack commercial, and cell phone guy, literally, I mean, because there's one moment where, you know, the cell phone guy is talking, and he voices a giant pumpkin. And Billy West voicing a giant pumpkin, well, we see a giant pumpkin later on. So again, Billy, Mandy, and Grimm are, you know, they stop at Granny's house, and boy, is Granny a handful, because she has no teeth, and she basically has a lot of candy hidden in her house, forbidding anybody to get her candy, and, well, she hates trick-or-treating. And they don't get their candy at first, but Mandy pulls a trick on Granny using super glue, and she, you know, she falls for the trick, and the glue being on the rug, and yeah, and thus Mandy, Billy, and Grimm, you know, walk into her house and grab a box of Valentine's Day candy, because she has Valentine's Day candy, I think Easter candy, and as well as Christmas candy. Well, and even when we saw her holding a candy cane. So yeah. So they go to the cemetery, they eat up the candy, and Billy is wondering, like, why do people do tricks and such? And Grimm gives Billy the origin of how this all began, with everybody nowadays, you know, pulling tricks and stuff like that. And as I mentioned, Grimm it's kind of his fault with how this began, because in the medieval times of Ennsville, well, there was this one villager named Jack who always loved to pull tricks on the villagers. And it got to a point where the villagers couldn't take it anymore. And, well, also, according to Grimm, rumor has it that he invented new tricks for what he would do next, pulling more tricks on the villagers, and he even laughed himself to sleep. Would anybody do that? I guess. I don't see why not. But anyways, so, again, at a certain point, the villagers couldn't take it anymore with Jack and his tricks. And so they pulled a trick on Jack this time. They sent a gift to the Queen of Ennsville, and, well, basically, they tricked the queen into thinking that the gift for her was from Jack. The way for them to get rid of Jack once and for all, and for him to end his tricks, yeah, because when the gift is sent to the Queen of Ennsville, even Mandy is like, there was a Queen of Ennsville? And Grimm just, who's telling the story? How he said it. And, well, the Queen opening her gift, and she thought it was going to be candy, but no, it was, one of those cans, and stuff flies out, yeah, and of course she's pissed off by this, and she has a knight go and execute Jack, and thus the knight does so. And, well, Grimm stepped in and basically was going to take Jack. His time was coming. But Jack, he refused to let that happen, and he made a bargain, a deal with the Grim Reaper to have him live for all eternity. And, well, because Jack stole his scythe, and he would only give Grimm his scythe back if he would have Jack live for all eternity. And thus the Grimm, accepts and obliges and, yeah, shakes hands with him. But the Grimm, wouldn't let him off the hook that easily. He gave him the ability to live for eternity, but he decided that, he wouldn't let Jack be seen by anybody else, like his face being seen once again. So he chopped off his head, and his actual head was replaced with a jack-o'-lantern, and, well, hence him being referred to as Jack-o'-lantern. So, yeah. And for all eternity and for thousands of years, Jack would go on to live his eternal life with a pumpkin head, and his house would be remained untouched even when the modern times stepped in, and, yeah, the property of Jack-o'-lantern never touched. Still there even when there's big buildings right next to it. Yeah. And then after that, well, Billy, he finds this rubbish. And then Erwin stepping in once again, and Billy being terrified by his costume. This time, Erwin is dressed as a turtle, and the way he describes what his turtle costume is specifically, and asking Mandy for a kiss. Of course, he doesn't get it. And then Mandy and Grimm go off on their own, trick-or-treating some more, and pulling more tricks, while Billy going solo trick-or-treating. And at one point, and should have seen this coming, where Billy makes his way to the house of Jack. And, because, again, like I said, he finds this rubbish with the origin story of people tricking and such. And, yeah, so going up to the house, and he doesn't suspect anything, knowing Billy and how dumb he is. And, well, we, of course, get Jack. And Jack being voiced by good old Wayne Knight. Yeah, and Wayne Knight being no stranger to voice acting, of course. Of course, we know him best as, say, the voices of Al from Toy Story 2, and also voicing the evil Emperor Zurg in Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, and many other voice work that he's done, and the live-action films that he's done. Great actor, great guy. And great voice, of course, especially for voice acting. So Jack, telling Billy just to go away and such. And, well, Jack was on his way tonight to do more tricks and such, because, yeah, Grimm pointed out that still, to this day, and in the show, Jack's still pulling tricks on anybody for many years. And Jack commenting on Billy about the scythe that he's using, and it's phony. But Billy, he doesn't like the sound of that, and he addresses Jack that it's the real deal. It's the Grim Reaper's actual scythe. And Jack looks at the scythe again, and he sees the property, the words on the scythe, property of the Grim Reaper. And that's when Jack realizes that, yeah, it's an actual scythe from the Grim Reaper. And Jack tricking Billy into giving him the scythe, and, well, how dumb Billy is, yeah. And even when Jack tickled him with the feather on his hat. And thus, now Jack wields the scythe and unleashing, chaos and disastrous stuff from the underworld, even bringing pumpkins to life, evil spirits possessing the pumpkins and terrifying Ennsville on Halloween night. And coming back to Mandy and Grimm, because they're still out in the evening of Halloween, still pulling some tricks, and yeah, because the part with the toilet paper woman, yeah, because she's got toilet paper all over her. Yeah, I remember now the whole thing of toilet paper woman. And at one point, and after Jack unleashed chaos from the underworld, and with the pumpkins being possessed by evil spirits, Grimm is sensing something is not right going on in Ennsville. And that's when he and Mandy see that, yeah, pumpkins are roaming around, terrifying the neighborhood, and, well, Erwin once again stepping in, and the costumes that he's wearing, just so funny, and still trying to get a kiss from Mandy. And, well, Grimm, Mandy, and Erwin, yeah, they can see that it's Billy with Jack, and, yeah, and the pumpkin that Jack and Billy are riding on captures Grimm by its tongue, vine tongue, best way to describe, and, yeah, so, and Billy, well, she has to follow Grimm and the others, and it's technically up to Mandy. And now Jack has Grimm held hostage, and Grimm remembers who Jack is, and Jack is about to decapitate Grimm. And why? Because, well, yeah, at first, and because, well, even Billy knows this. And I like how at times, Billy can have smart moments, because he knows that, he knows and is like, why? Because he's a skeleton, and showing that, Grimm's head can be taken off. Well, yes, but according to Jack, with wielding the scythe, anybody's head, even if it's, say, Grimm, with it being decapitated with the scythe for eternity. So, yeah. And thus Grimm is about to be executed, and, well, Billy, he was gonna go off to do some more trick-or-treating, and he says goodbye to Grimm, like, Billy, why are you doing this? Why are you leaving Grimm for him to be decapitated? Like, God, Grimm making a comment on this. But as Billy was walking off, a light bulb hits him, and he just now realizes that Grimm is in trouble, and, he, like, shouting, call the police! And then Mandy is there, and Mandy, of course, knowing that Billy has doomed the world once again, and in Ennsville, and Billy telling Mandy the situation on Grimm, and so on. And that's when Mandy undresses from her Hamlet costume, and is in, like, soldier gear, and with black markings, and she's preparing for battle, and what she's about to do, well, to get back at Jack, and, well, setting up some tricks and pranks around, and she asks Billy, having him to, distract Jack while she's setting up everything, and the equipment that Mandy sets up, like a stick of dynamite in a beehive, a whoopee cushion, a bucket of water on top of a tree branch, and putting electric eels in a river, just, God. And while she's doing that, the distraction that Billy does on Jack, well, showing off his butt cheeks. God. Oh, Billy, and the gross stuff that he's done. Yeah. And this goes on for just like a minute or so, and Jack has had enough, and yeah, he knows what Billy was doing, and he knew that, well, Mandy was there, and just, yeah. And, well, what's gonna happen now? And now that Mandy's been exposed, and so on, it didn't really work. Well, at one point, a knight in shining armor steps in, and Jack, because not being tricked by anything, he can't be, nor be terrified. However, a knight in shining armor that out of nowhere shows up, terrifies Jack, and we see that, well, it's Erwin in a knight in shining armor costume. And, God, and poor Erwin, because what happens to him next is that he basically wanders into all the traps, jokes, and prank stuff that Mandy set up. Oh, yeah, and even, like, she put a banana peel there. Yeah, because Erwin, from slipping on a banana peel, getting a bucket of water on his head and his foot being stuck in the bucket, and with the stick of dynamite blowing up and the beehive and the bees attack Erwin, and when he goes into the river where the electric eels are, poor Erwin, jeez. He may be dumb too, but come on, you know. And, well, apparently all that happens to Erwin causes Jack and the evil spirits possessing pumpkins and a tree, they are laughing to death, and at a certain point, the more they're laughing, that apparently kills them by laughing to death. And Jack is the last remaining one. Grim is all right. He's not. He's safe now, not to be decapitated by his own scythe. And, well, tensions now turn to Jack, and, well, Grim sends Jack to the underworld through the vortex and the underworld. Yeah, and, well, Jack is defeated. So, yeah. And, well, all ends well, and, you know, Billy still being stupid, and Grim saying to Billy, "I hate you," and, yeah. And Erwin, he still never got a kiss from Mandy. Poor Erwin, and after so much that happened to him, yeah, still. And Billy asks Grim, a very good question, because, you know, what has now happened to Jack? And, well, Grim describing and telling Billy that, you know, he's now in the underworld, etc. And we see the very last scene in Billy and Mandy's Jacked Up Halloween, Jack being in the underworld, and he's still pulling tricks, and pulling a trick on, like, one of the devils, and, well, now those creatures in the underworld turning on Jack, and they're gonna give a taste of his own medicine, you know, just about to beat him up, I guess, and while he's laughing, just, what a funny way to end off the episode, and with, you know, and with Jack, the aftermath of Jack and him being in the underworld. So, yeah. Billy and Mandy's Jacked Up Halloween. It's a pretty good Halloween episode / special from the Grim Adventures, and this being one of their first. The story that goes on in Billy and Mandy's Jacked Up Halloween is pretty good, and with what goes on with the characters, the costumes that the characters are wearing, and most notably Erwin, and with the antagonist in this Halloween episode / special of Grim Adventures, Jack, and with him unleashing chaos, and with Grim's scythe that he wields, and the origin story as established in Grim Adventures on how it all began with people pulling tricks, pranks, and jokes on other people, yeah. And with its funny moments and gross moments, mainly coming from Billy, yeah. Just, yeah, overall, Billy and Mandy's Jacked Up Halloween is pretty good, and definitely a pretty good Halloweenish material from Cartoon Network to watch around Halloween time, especially from the good old days of Cartoon Network, and with, you know, how in the good old days of Cartoon Network, you know, with the Halloweenish materials that they had from their shows and so on, yeah. So I'm giving Billy and Mandy's Jacked Up Halloween, well, why not? 10 out of 10 stars. Yes, 10 out of 10 stars for Billy and Mandy's Jacked Up Halloween. And what about you guys? What did you think of the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy Halloween episode / special itself, Billy and Mandy's Jacked Up Halloween? Is it one of your favorite episodes of the Grim Adventures, and this being Halloween, is it one of your favorite Halloweenish materials on Cartoon Network to watch during Halloween time? Yeah, and, like, you know, just with what goes on in Billy and Mandy's Jacked Up Halloween, what were some of your favorite funny moments and gross moments? Just, yeah, overall, what do you think of Billy and Mandy's Jacked Up Halloween itself, and with what I've had to say, my review, and yeah, what did you think of my review? Leave comments, and give this review video a like, as always. And so, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of episode 15 from season 1 of The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Billy and Mandy's Jacked Up Halloween. More review videos are coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video / review. And, well, there's one more Halloweenish material left for me to review. However, not just me, but my dad joining in as well. Stay tuned later tonight, because the last Halloweenish material that both me and my dad will be reviewing, well, to best describe it, we enter in a fifth dimension. Do you know what it is? Again, stay tuned for that. Take care, and peace out.